Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to tackle something I'm sure that anyone with a TJ is familiar with. It's rust. So I've got some rust on each of my rocker panels and it's bubbling through pretty bad. So I'm going to do my best to cut out and weld in some new patch panels, which I've personally never done before, but I'm willing to give it a shot and let you guys watch me tear apart my Jeep. So let's dive in. Alright, so first things first guys, let's take a look at what I've got going on. As you can see, there's quite a bit of rust down here. It's starting to bubble through and it's just about ready to turn into some holes. So I'm probably going to try and cut out all of this back and weld in a new patch panel. I do also have some holes, which you won't be able to see, it's too dark now, but some holes coming through the bottom there that I'll have to patch as well. It's not through the floorboard, but it's just that lower panel has rusted and fallen off. And the other side is just as bad as this. So we'll hop over there and take a look at that one. So here we are over on the passenger side now. As you can see, it's just as bad, if not a little worse. And it's got a big chunk there ready to just pop off. The floor on this side isn't as bad, but it will probably need a little mending while I'm here. So yeah, I think step one is going to be to pull these guys off so I have better access in there and get tools in there better, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so let's take a quick look at some of the tools we're going to be using. Alright, I've got a cutoff tool here, and that's obviously going to be what I'm going to use to remove the metal and cut it out. And then I've got an angle grinder, and I'm going to use that to sand and strip away all the paint so I can see the rust and see how far it goes to know where to cut. And then I bought a few little just conditioning and sandpaper kits that go with the angle grinder. Alright, and here we have the welder I'm going to use. I bought it specifically for this, and to be frank, I might have been looking for an excuse to buy a welder for a while. So here it is. I haven't used it much. I just used it to cut off my front bumper. Well, I didn't use it to cut the front bumper. I cut off my front bumper ends to make it into a stinger style bumper, and then I used this to weld caps on there so a bunch of water wouldn't get in and rust it out. It is the Handler 125. It's 120 volt, which is nice. I'm using flux core for this. I'm not a welder. I've not welded a whole lot in my life, a little bit in high school, and that's about it. So try not to judge me too much on this, especially you welders out there. It won't look good, but it'll look better than rust holes. So give me a break on that. Here are the patch panels I bought from Classic Enterprises. I forget exactly how much they were. I got them back in December, but I kind of had plans to replace more than what I plan on now, but it doesn't look that bad, and I don't want all the extra work, so I'll probably just end up kind of using just a small section back here, and I might even use some of the rest just as sheet metal patches for underneath. We'll see how it goes. A couple other things I bought for this are some anti-spatter spray, so I can kind of spray it around where I'm going to be welding, and anywhere the flux core spatters, it won't stick as bad, so it should just wipe right off. And then I got Steel It, which I hadn't heard of before, but I'm pretty excited to use. It is a weldable kind of stainless steel spray in a can, so I'm going to definitely use this to paint the rear of the panels up, and that way they won't rust from behind, hopefully, at least not for a while, and then I can still weld it without it, you know, putting any impurities in the weld. And yeah, so well, that was harder than it should have been. All those bolts were already getting pretty rusty and were kind of hard to take out. But that's one side done, I guess. I might replace these while I'm at it and just do the metal cloak fender guards and rock sliders. because I've got new metal cloak fenders on the way, so might just do the whole system and be done with it. Alright, well, I think that's it for tonight. You'll see me tomorrow in different clothes, and I'll do the other side. See you then. Alright, it's the next day now. So what I have already done is I pulled off my rock sliders and I pulled off my rear fenders so I could have good access and see what all rust is happening in here. As you can see, here are my rockers in the daylight now, and then in here in my fender well, it's getting a little rusty and we've lost a little bit flaked off back here. So I'm going to do my best to try and clean that up. I have patch panels for out here. Back here, I don't know if I'm just going to clean it and paint it. I haven't decided yet. And then let me tilt you underneath. You'll see I'm missing some chunks down here that I'm going to try and replace. And we'll take a quick hop to the other side. Alright, and here's the other side. It's also got a little rust here on the inner fender well. It's not as bad. Some pieces are starting to break off here too, and it seems awfully hollow sounding right there, so that might get cut out as well. And then, as you can see, all along the rocker here is in pretty rough shape. So most of this, if not all of it's going to get cut out. It's going to be an interesting job. And let's see, underneath here is not nearly as bad. It's a little bit starting here, but that's about it. It's not in too bad a shape. The next step's going to be just taking the angle grinder and taking everything down to bare metal, taking the rust and paint off just so we can see what all actually needs cut out. And that'll probably take me an hour or two per side. So for you guys, it's just going to be a minute. I'm going to get out there and start getting to work. This seems like a great time to just jump in and say, hey, if you guys are enjoying the videos, please drop me a like and think about subscribing if you want to see more content like this. It really helps me out. Give me a comment. Tell me what you want to see. I've got a lot planned for this TJ this year. I've got a lot going on. New axles, bigger tires, bigger lift. I've got some metal cloak fenders right over there that just got delivered. I'm going to be putting those on. Big things to come. So if you're interested in TJs or off-roading, this might be the channel you want to keep an eye on. Thanks. Alright, just a quick update. I have pulled out the passenger seat, most of the console, all of the carpet, everything, speakers and stuff I had in the rear, my little cargo rack, I've pulled that out. The back doesn't look bad, a little bit on the sides. I got a huge hole here where the rockers and some seam sealer was here that I peeled back. The other side, same spot. Or not same spot, but behind the roll bar there at the wheel well is a little bad. I got a little hole there. And then all of this floorboard is kind of rough. So I'm about to just hit everything with a wire wheel and sand it. I've got some Raptor liner on the way that I'm going to line everything in here with. I got some rust reformer. I'm going to spray on that after I sand it, in case I miss anything. But yeah, quite the big job. Jeep is pretty tore down right now. And to top it off, this is day 3, but last night I took it out for a quick ride and my front left brake locked up, so my wheel was smoking and super hot, and I limped her home and changed out my caliper today, so that was a nice bonus on top of all the work I'm already doing. So yeah, I'm gonna start wire wheeling this and cleaning it up, and we'll go from there. well, this is turning into a much bigger job than I anticipated. I thought I was just going to be doing some rockers, but digging everything out looks like I'm going to be patching a lot, and I'm not loving that. The piece I cut out, I'm going to hang on to and trace it out as best I can on my patch panel. That way I don't have to do a bunch of measuring and try and figure out the size of the piece I cut out. So that should get me pretty close. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do about up in here, because this is 2 bolts for the roll cage, and I feel like that metal's pretty weak, and you can kind of see up and under there as well. So I might have to try and take out this section of roll cage to get in there. I don't know how deep I want to get into this yet, so I haven't really decided. But yeah, I'm not loving it. Give you a good look at everything going on in here. Some big holes. And the other side is what I assume gonna be exactly the same, because I can already see little holes there at the wheel well and stuff. So yeah, ton of work coming. Okay guys, I think this is gonna wrap up what I'm gonna now call part 1. I wasn't planning on breaking this up into parts, but as the scope of this job has increased greatly, I think I'm going to break this up into parts so it's not such a long video, and then you can kind of go to sections that you're interested in. So if you want to see the full process, please give me a comment, tell me you're interested. I'll try and be more detailed coming forward, and subscribe, because then you'll get updates when I drop new content. Well, thanks for tuning in for this episode, and see you on the next part.